what's the quickest way to get from this to this if you're only going to have one store? Now, if you're going to go multi-location, it's all about the model. The model, the way we fix cars, has to be the same every single time. So let's think through this. If you want to build things the exact same every single time, and you are trying to grow your company, but people want to go in a different direction, you have to realize that if you have a simple plan, you've got it figured out here, if you cannot delegate and let go, you're not going to be able to grow. You have to be able to delegate, you have to be able to let it go, and it flies away. And so if you can delegate this to somebody and let it go and let them handle it, this project is going to go from you, right, over to them, and it's going to land in their lap, and now they're going to own that project. It's going to become theirs. But to delegate, a lot of people say, oh man, that's easy. It's easier said than done. I also think that this is a huge issue at the corporate level. So if you're going to go to this level and you're going to take it to a place you've never been, you can't do kind of your backwoods accounting. So the first thing you got to do is get your books very tight. Everything's reconciled. Everything is down to the penny is counted. No rounding differences. Your day ends are exact. Everything. So books are very tight, and I mean very. From there, you're going to have a bookkeeper that's going to charge a fee to everybody else to do their books. So whether you use an outsider or you have an internal person, you got to figure that out. Now that has to be done the right way. What I would encourage most of you to do is if you have a shop, here, shop one, this is an LLC, that shop one or an S Corp, most of you are an LLC or an S Corp. I'll put S Corp, depends on what state you're in. And then you got shop two, and you got shop three. I'm going to encourage you to put inside of the first shop your corporate office, and you're going to go in and reclass your QuickBooks. To reclass QuickBooks. I'll explain that in just a second. We need our books tight. So if we're going to get our books tight, we have to have this set up correctly. So that means if we've got 1, 2, 3 LLCs, we need to think forward and think about where we're going with things. So let's just pause on this for a second. If you're planning, let me switch colors here. We'll do green. If you're planning on having 3 locations, you have liability. So we need an S Corp or we need an LLC. However, if all 3 locations are in the same state, some people would say put all 3 in one LLC or one S Corp. If you said, Aaron, I'm going to open 9 locations, I would tell you, how about 3? If you said, I'm going to open up 6, I'd tell you, how about 3? Now, let me walk you through what I'm thinking here. We have, let's call it 3 LLCs. If you're going to use an S Corp, that's fine. They're very similar. So you've got store 1, store 2, store 3. The way you would go about this is you would open your first store. Your first store is then going to get the loan for the equipment, the property, etc., and guarantee all your notes for the second store. You will start a new LLC with this thing guaranteeing everything for this one. In fact, this will probably even have to buy the equipment for this one. You'll load it into this one. Then when you go to open up your next store, I would probably tell you to come back and put it inside of store 1. Then when you go to open up your 4th store, I would tell you to go back and put it in store 2. And then when you go to open up your 5th store, we put it in store 3. When you go to open your 6th store, we put that also in store 3, inside that LLC. Now, why are we doing it this way? If you said, Aaron, I'm going to only open 2 stores, I might tell you just to keep them both in the same LLC because we're thinking about liability, but we're balancing liability with complexity. Books got to be tight.